Hi everyone, and welcome to Creative Chelsea. If you like this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up or commenting below. If you want to see more of my videos, press the subscribe button and click on the bell for notifications. If you need any Stampin' Up! Products to make this card, you can visit my online store, and the link is in the description box below. When you purchase Stampin' Up! Products through me, you can earn free products. Check out my current customer appreciation products on my blog, and the link is listed below in the description box. Today I'd like to share with you this beautiful watercolor card using the Feels Like Home stamp set, which is a celebration item for August through September of 2021. So this catalog has so many fun items in it, and you can see here that you've got this Feels Like Home. There's some really great samples that they include in the catalog, so you can get some different ideas on how to use it. Today I'm going to be using it along with the Peaceful Prints Designer Series paper, which is also another free item during celebration. Now, to get those free items, there are certain levels that you need to hit to be able to qualify for them. So this is the Peaceful Prints DSP. You can see here that they are kind of Christmas themed, but you can kind of separate one of those patterns out and use them for other cards as well. So with Celebration, you have two levels. There's a $50 level and a $100 level. So when you hit those levels, then these products are available to you. And you can get more information online through the link again in the description below. So today we're going to be using this beautiful stamp with some watercoloring and just to create this really simple and beautiful card. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to begin stamping our image in StazOn ink on some Fluid 100 watercolor paper. And this paper you can purchase from Stampin' Up! As well. So let me go ahead and ink that up in StazOn. The reason I like to use StazOn is because it will not run when you add the watercolor to it. So nice pressure. The Fluid 100 paper does have a texture to it, so you want to make sure your image has enough ink and that you apply enough texture to get a nice clean image there. So to begin our watercoloring, I'm going to start with some of the background elements, and I'm going to do those. So the wall color that I chose is Sahara Sand, which is also the color of the pattern paper and my card base. So to create watercoloring with the Stampin' Up! Ink pads, you just want to add some ink into the lid. And you can do this a couple ways. The way I like to do it is just to squeeze the pad together before opening it, or you can use a ink dropper and just add some refill ink into the lid. I've got a water painter with some water in the bladder, and I'm just squeezing that water into the ink and mixing it until it creates a nice soft color. And then I'm just going to go ahead and add this to the wall of my image. And if you want a darker color, you just add more ink to your water mixture. And if you want a lighter color, then you add less ink and more water. So you're just going to work this color all the way around and in between these images. It's our first layer. You can see that I went over some of those little details like the tree and some of the bike. What's going to happen is that watercolor will go ahead and dry, and then I will be able to add more color over this lighter wash to be able to get those details how I want them. So we'll go ahead and let that dry and move to another section. I'm going to use soft suede and cinnamon cider together to add some more brown and neutral elements to my image. So I'm going to start with what color do I have here? Cinnamon cider. It's kind of a nice brown color. It reminds me a little bit of terracotta, so I kind of like that for my pots in my basket here. Then I do want to have maybe a paper towel on hand just to squeeze the bladder and let the water run clear before moving on to my next color. I'm just going to use the soft suede here. I'm going to add that to the bottom of my image. Then if I want to maybe take some of that brown, I can also add it to those planters just to kind of bring a little more depth. So now that I've taken some time in another area, I can come back to this area and do some detail. So I've grabbed 3 different colors of green, and I'm just going to use them kind of randomly in some of the plants. I'm going to start with the lightest color, which is Pear Pizzazz. Again, add a little water to the ink, and I'm just going to place this kind of all over the tree. It's a nice tree leaf color and a good base for then I can add some shadows to the tree as well once this dries a little bit. Next, I'm going to add some garden green. I'm going to give this a chance to dry, pick up a little bit of that garden green and add it to this planter here. Then I can go with that green and just kind of add some more color to the tree, just to give it some variety. I'm not doing the whole thing, I'm just kind of focusing on maybe some of the leaves that would be under instead of on top, kind of some shadow effect or a darker leaf color. Then I want to do some shaded spruce. And I haven't cleaned my brush. I'm kind of just bringing in the next dark color. So for my shaded spruce, I'm going to add that down here. Probably add a little bit underneath, maybe a little darker color for the tree. Very sparingly. Don't do too much of this dark color. This is the soft suede. I'm just picking up a little bit of that and adding it right back there because I missed some spots. And then I'm going to pick up mostly ink with not too much water, and I'm just going to kind of brush that in as like a trunk. So let's move on over to the bike area, pulling in some Night of Navy, which kind of has a dark color when you stamp with it, but when you watercolor with it, it really lightens up quite a bit. And I'm actually just going to add this to the whole bike here. So really tiny, delicate brush strokes with a nice brush that has a good tip on it so that you can get some of those details. So now we just need to focus on the door. I'm going to start with the door itself, and I'm using Calypso Coral, which is kind of an orangey red color. Just picking up some of that and adding it just to the door, not to the frame. Then I've got some balmy blue, and this is going to give me just a really light blue color for the windows. And then the very last thing I need to add is a little bit of color around the door frame, but I wanted it to stay really neutral. So I've got gray granite here, and I'm going to add a lot of water with just a little bit of ink and just kind of brush that on. Once your image is all dry, you're going to trim it down to be 2 7/8 inches by 3 7/8 inches. So the best way to start this is just to kind of eyeball and just slowly take space off of the sides. So 3 7/8, so it's like 1/8 smaller. So I think we're gonna go ahead and measure and cut that. And then we're looking for 2 7/8. So I'm gonna just start with this at the bottom, somewhere around there, and then 2 7/8, which is right about there. And I think that works really well. You'll need just a couple other pieces to put this card together. Like I mentioned, I've got a card base of Sahara Sand, and we have that piece of Designer Series paper. This one's been cut to 4 inches by 5 1/4, which will give us a nice border of the card base all the way around. I've cut a piece of craft paper, which is a new product in the mini catalog, and it's been cut to just 1/8 larger than our watercolor paper. So that is 3 inches by 4 inches. And I'm just placing that at an angle in the center of the card. And then I can add my watercolor paper with our beautiful Feels Like Home stamped and watercolored image. And then we're going to add our greeting, which is "Your friendship feels like home to me." And I've stamped that in Calypso Coral. I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive to the back of some twine here. This is a crumb cake or Sahara Sand color, so it's a nice light brown color. And I'm just creating a faux bow to the back. Then I'm going to place a dimensional on the back just to hold it down and give it a little dimension. And that goes up in the top right corner of my card, just like that. So the last thing I wanted to add to this card are some of these champagne colored elegant faceted gems. And I'm just placing them around the greeting. I just want to mention really quickly that I cut out the greeting from one of the Ornate Frames dies, which is just a really great collection of different labels that you can use on your cards. And before I say goodbye, I just want to show you a couple other cards that I've made with this same stamp set. So this one is a really fun and actually quick and easy card. I just used that door frame as a background image, added a really quick die cut, and then the greeting. And then this one I colored using Stampin' Blend Markers and just kind of kept it simple and just did a couple elements from the image. I also stamped, colored, and cut out the little pot from the stamp set and then did a greeting. I added some embossing to the background with an embossing folder and then a little bit of a delicate lace at the bottom. So I hope you enjoyed seeing some different cards using this fun and beautiful Feels Like Home stamp set. If you're interested in written instructions or seeing close-up images of this card, you can visit my blog, creativechelsea.com. Thanks so much for watching. Have a creative day. Bye.